Brother Teacher again. This is part 2 to the first video concerning what a police man and officer is and their actual duties. As I ended the last video, it was talking about, or I was talking about, a police officer is actually a policy officer. They follow state statutes. FYI, by the way, they're not actual laws. They were created by some men for the purpose of creating revenue. So the police officer's real duty is to collect money by way of citations, by way of arresting the people, putting you in jail, and you going through the court system to pay from your sweat equity into the system that we call the so-called government, local, federal, through the system or the judicial system. In other words, that's their job. That's their primary job. It doesn't mean that a police officer won't respond to a robbery, to a rape, to a mugging, and these other things. Of course, those are noble and honorable situations that a police officer responds to. But underlying that is their actual duty. So you notice that I asked the question early on in the first video about what a policeman was in contrast to a police officer. And I also said that both of them, if you would notice, they swore to uphold the Constitution. They both are. Now let me tell you this. In America, the first one that I mentioned, the policeman, doesn't exist. They don't exist in common law. So we don't have common law police officers in America. They all operate, the police officers operate, as I said before, in commercial law, state statute. They are beholden, again, as redundant as this may sound, police officers are beholden to follow the policies that are given to them to follow. No fault of their own. They didn't make the policies. They didn't make the so-called laws, which are not actually laws. And I want to point this out to you while I'm on that brief topic or subject of laws. There's only 2 real laws that ever existed on this planet and still only exist. And the one law is when you harm another human being, that's a crime. That's breaking the law. When you take or destroy or harm another human being's property, notice that both of them affect a human being. If you spit a piece of candy on the ground or throw a potato chip bag on the ground, as unruly as it may appear, that can't be called a crime because you did not harm another human being in any way. Period. So if I'm driving down the street and I see someone next to me throw a McDonald's bag out the window, is it wrong to litter? Yes. Does it deface the land? Yes. Will someone eventually probably have to go and pick that trash up at some point in time? Yes. But has someone directly been harmed by that individual throwing that bag out the window? No. Has property been damaged by that bag being thrown out the window? No. But if a police officer sees you throw trash out the window, guess what? They have a fine attached to their ordinance or to their statute or to their uniform commercial code. There is a codified language for that infraction, for littering and throwing it out the window. So once they pull you over, They write you this citation, which is basically them offering you something, and you say, I'm signing it. They tell you that you're signing it to say that you received the citation. They're lying to you. You're signing it saying that you admit to the charge. When you go to court, the judge already knows that you've admitted through your signature, because you are a living human being signing it, which is your sign of nature. You are nature. You're a human being. You are nature. So once you sign, nature or the human being said that I did do this, and I'm accepting the liability or the responsibility for littering, along with the fine that comes with it. That's something for you to wrap your brain around, your mind around what I just said. So you have to play this video again and again and again. Read everything that I'm saying to you. So again, once you sign the citation, you've accepted responsibility or liability for the so-called crime. So-called. But ask yourself the question, was someone damaged as a result? Was property damaged as a result? Now, if you're driving down the street or traveling down the street and there's no traffic anywhere, no vehicles or conveyances or trucks or cars anywhere, and there are lights around, and you go through a stop sign without stopping, but there's a camera there, so that camera reads your license plate, and you get a citation in the mail saying that you ran a stop sign. Was running a stop sign wrong? Or did you use critical thinking since there were no people there? This is just a scenario, a hypothetical. There are no people there, remember? But you drove through the sign anyway. It's a regulatory sign designed for traffic, but there's nobody there but you. So you drove through the sign without stopping because you saw no one there. But there's a camera there that caught your so-called infraction. And you get a letter because they have your information from your license plate in the system. They send you a citation, maybe an appearance to court, summons. So they cite you and you have to pay a fine. But pay a fine for what? Did you harm someone? Did you damage someone? Was anyone injured by that action that you made? Was there any property damaged? Now mind you again, those are the only two crimes that exist in the world. Damaging property, someone else's property, or damaging or harming another person or a human being. Do you get my point? And I'm not making this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. We have been lied to by the institutions that we're supposed to look up to and trust. They're not who they say they are. Now, I can tell you this as sure as my name. Someone that has a relative that's a police officer, a friend that's a police officer, or even a police officer or someone in law enforcement is going to respond to this video in a very brash, non-intelligent way, hateful way, not because I've said anything wrong, but because I pulled the covers back, pulled the curtain back. I've exposed something that's always been there. The point is, some people choose not to accept it, even though they actually know it exists. I'm talking about the corruption in our system. It doesn't matter if you like what I said, but it doesn't make what I said not true. Now, if you can rebut what I've said with the truth on the specific points that I just brought to your attention, then you're teaching me something that I didn't know. But anyone that has any type of intelligence and who uses critical thinking and who has common sense will know that what I said is right on point. So, don't respond unless you really are serious about understanding the world in which you live. But if you're that other individual that wants to try to vilify me and attack me because of what I'm saying and the fact that it is the truth, we're going to put you on blast. Because I will respond if you approach me inappropriately. So this is not a hate channel. Never has been that. Never will be that. This is an informational channel on many levels of information. Whether you like what I say or not, you don't have to watch it. So this is Brother Teacher. I pointed out the difference in a policeman and a police officer. A policeman follows common law. They are there to protect the people in the community, not corporations, as do the police officer or policy officer. They're the ones who order you out of your vehicle or your car, who threaten to tase you, who threaten to shoot you, who tackle you to the ground when you've done nothing, when you have not posed any threat to them. Those are the ones you have to look out for. Those are the ones that you have to wonder about. Because real people treat other people like people. That was it, and that was all.